Welcome back, Summoners, to another episode of Elo Hell. I am your Elo Hell guru, Quirky, and today we're going to discuss the top 3 mid laners you should learn to climb out of low elo and get yourself into gold. With that said, let's get started. The first champion we're going to discuss is one of my favorites, Malzahar, the Prophet of the Void. Malzahar is a strong champion and can turn fights around easily using his silence and suppress. Having Malzahar on the team will force your opponents to rush Quicksilver Sash or Zhonya's in order to get out of your ult and survive. Knowing this, you can bait the item only to have them fall victim to your teammate's CC. When using Malzahar, make sure to abuse the lane by using your E ability, Malefic Visions, to push the lane under your enemy's tower in order to roam for a gank or help your jungler take an objective. When fighting with your opponent, use your E's dot, summon your voidlings, cast silence with your Q, then ignite them if it's up, and finally ult. With the rune page provided, you'll be outputting max damage and killing your opponent once the ult is finished. For runes, go Sorcery with points into Airy, Mana Band, Transcendence, and Scourge. For your secondary tree, go into Inspiration, putting points into Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight. Put 2 ability points into Adaptive Force, and your last point into Defense. For core items, go Luden's Echo, Liandry's, and Rylai's. As I enjoy playing Malzahar, I recommend getting Lost Chapter first, rushing Rylai's, then completing Luden's, as having the slow from the Rylai's will be a huge utility to your kiting and chasing potential. Alright, for the second champion we'll be discussing is one that has seen huge win rates in League, but also falls victims to high ban rates, and that's none other than your Lunar Queen, Diana, Scorn of the Moon. After her rework, Diana's ability to constantly harass with her E, Lunar Rush, makes her one champion many people are afraid to compete with. Give her a lead and Diana's ability to win the game is almost guaranteed. Make sure you get plenty of practice with her kit prior to rank in order to grasp her full potential in-game. For runes, go Conqueror, Presence of Mind, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. For her secondary tree, go Domination, with points into Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter. Put 2 points into Adaptive Force, and her last one into Magic Resist. For Diana's core items, go Hextech Protobelt, Zhonya's, and Rabadon's Death Cap. The last champion we will discuss has great utility, great team setup, but doesn't see a lot of gameplay. And that's Annie, the Dark Child. Other than Annie's ability to have high sustain in lane due to her farming ability with Q that refunds mana if it kills an enemy, Annie has great potential with her passive to stun enemies and help set up ganks. When using Annie, be sure to always have her passive charged to 3 stacks, only using her shield to get a speed boost and the last stack to proc her stun for the next ability. Doing this will subconsciously make your opponent play within range instead of playing safe when he sees your stun is prepped. That being said, make sure to use this passive to get into your opponent's head and have them play the way you want instead of the other way around. Lastly, when playing as Annie, be sure to have your Tibbers ready when you're about to engage in a teamfight, as positioning yourself and using a loaded stun with your ult on the enemy team can literally guarantee your team coming out on top. Although it's not in the core items, if you combine Rylai's and Liandry, Tibbers can do a ton of damage to the enemy and prevent them from escaping after they get out of the stun due to his passive AoE. For runes, go Domination, putting points into Electrocute, Chief Shot, Eyeball, and Relentless Hunter. For her secondary tree, go into Sorcery, putting points into Celerity and Gathering Storm. Put points into Adaptive Force and her last point into Defense. For core items, go Luden's, Morellonomicon, and Zhonya's. Remember, as a mid laner, it is important to always be aware of where your jungler is and what's going on with your top and bottom lane, as you have the highest potential in affecting the early to mid game. Keeping your eye on the map to decide if you should help your jungler take an objective or move to roam and help gank can put your team ahead. With that being said, be sure you're not giving up CS to do so. When you're thinking of helping your team, you need to decide if doing so will get you something out of it. If it's a yes, help with the objective or gank. If a gank seems too risky or you can't help your jungler in time, Stay and farm the CS in your lane, but do so while pushing to get plates or destroying the turret. This also applies to when you are unable to follow your enemy mid laner's roam. Always be sure to ask yourself, what's the best play here? If you always have that in the back of your mind, chances are you're going to be more effective to your team. Alright Summoners, thanks again for stopping by. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to know when my next video for the other ones come out, be sure to subscribe. Don't forget, I stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 5 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and Saturdays from 1 to 4. So feel free to drop in and say hi, watch me rank, or even ask questions you'd like to know the answers to. Thanks again my fellow Quirkstars, and see you soon.